drizzly day throughout the region, but the front has moved on. Good weather is upon us. Bad stuff behind us, and we put behind us that loss from last night, a tough one. The Pirates fell to the Reds in game one of this three-game series, so the Buccos and Redlegs now tied for second, two back of the Cardinals, who play the Brewers tonight. And both the Pirates and the Redlegs are tied atop the wild card standings. Before we look ahead to tonight, Steve, though, let's take a look back at a tough situation. Bad blood has been brewing between these two teams for the last couple of years. Sam LeCure hits Andrew McCutchen in the eighth inning, intentional or not. Mark Carlson, the home plate umpire, warns both benches, and Clint Hurdle has a problem with that.
Yeah, I'd like to weigh in on this program a little bit. First of all, I don't care if it's intentional or not. Andrew McCutchen is our man, and you can't keep having him get hit, because if he gets hurt, your main man is out. Also, the second part of that is that you have to send Andrew McCutchen a message that, hey, we've got your back. So something's got to happen at some point to let Andrew McCutchen know that you're going to take care of him. You're going to send a message to whoever wants to take a shot at him. He's the main man.
A couple of things, by the way. Sam LeCure had not hit a batter all year long. 4 times McCutchen has been hit by Cincinnati Reds pitchers this year. 8 times total, so probably more than just a coincidence.
Yeah, and the rulings that have come down now really prevent you from retaliating. It takes that weapon away from you to let your guy know that you got his back, because you'll get thrown out of the ballgame. So I don't like the rule going in. We used to be able to police ourselves. That world has changed.
Well, tonight it is A.J. Burnett on the hill for the Pirates against Homer Bailey. Homer Bailey loves pitching here at PNC Park. He just loves pitching in general. Last 9 starts, he is 6-0.
Well, these are 2 quality right-handers, so we'll see what happens. And A.J. Burnett, the veteran, you like to have him out there maybe to steady things down tonight and take a run at the Reds.
The Buccos and the Reds, game 2 of this 3-game series. Boy, we saw a lot of this last night, the passion of the pennant race. It is upon us. Another sellout crowd expected to see the Buccos and the Reds in game 2 of this 3-game series. The pennant race continues in Pittsburgh in a moment.
Brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. and by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
Well, the Pirates again needing to step up in a big way. 2 very disappointing losses the last 3 games. None bigger than last night. So A.J. Burnett, who likes to consider himself the team ace, the leader of the pitching staff, the go-to man. The Pirates go to the veteran to try and, again, to use Clint Hurdle's term, put a foot down. Here is the Cincinnati Reds starting lineup. Dusty Baker's club tied with the Pirates at 88 and 66. Derek Robinson leads off. Brandon Phillips hits second. Joey Votto, last night his 15th game-winning RBI of the year. Ryan Ludwig is the cleanup hitter. Jay Bruce is in right. Zach Cozart, the shortstop. Left-handed hitting Jack Hanahan is at third base tonight. Ryan Hannigan back behind the plate, and Homer Bailey is on the mound.
A.J. Burnett making start number 29. His number is brought to you by Chevrolet. And good chance that A.J. could have some more wins at 3.43 ERA. But he's the kind of guy that likes to think of himself, and well, he's deserved some, as what we use the Clint Hurdleism, street cred.
Yeah.
You know, he's been around a long time. He's done a lot of things. He knows the dance, and he's got a record that really I don't think spells out what a good job he has done. He still throws hard. He still strikes out a lot of batters. He's within 9 of going to the 200 mark for the 3rd time in his career, so he's still got a little gas left in the tank. And I think the emotional impact has kind of stabilized from last night over a number of hours. So I think we're getting ready to play a baseball game, and I'd like to get back to the kind of baseball the Pirates played against the Reds, a lot of years, especially the decade of the 70s. I'll go back there when there wasn't a lot of this going on, but there the perimeter stuff. But it was really, really a good rivalry, a lot of very good baseball. So let's hope we can have that kind of game tonight.
Well, we had most of it last night. The majority of the game was just that. It harkened back to those 70s days where the Big Red Machine and the lumber company, the Battling Bucks, battled it out those years. They really were playing good baseball for a while. Andrew McCutchen, of course, in center field. And we'll be watching his at-bats throughout the night. And see what A.J. Burnett doing. Steve, you were talking, to Rob King before the game about how it is tough now because what the umpires have done, essentially taking the game away from the players.
Hands are tied.
Derek Robinson leads off, and it's a strike. Jerry Davis is the crew chief. He's behind home plate tonight. Dan Iasonia at first, Brian Knight at second, Mark Carlson at third. Apparently the league office issued a memo to Carlson, the home plate umpire, and Jerry Davis, the rest of the crew, to watch it because of the bad blood between these two clubs. This ball hit toward left center field. Over his Tabata to make the catch.
Sliding back to him.
You see Tabata make the catch in left center field. With McCutchen in center, Marlon Byrd in right. Pedro Alvarez and Clint Barmas on the left side of the infield with Neil Walker at second, Justin Morneau at first, and Russell Martin behind the plate. Here's Clint Barmas, veteran shortstop.
A lot of talk last night about why he might not have been the shortstop in that 9th inning, but Clint Hurdle very much defending Jordy Mercer in that situation, saying he's made that play 1,000 times.
And tonight, the fact that Barmas is in the game has nothing to do with that error, by the way. This lineup was in place a couple of days ago when they looked at the series and the pitching matchup. He likes Barmas in there against Homer Bailey. Barmas is a .250 career hitter against Bailey. Brandon Phillips at the plate. And Phillips continues his hot hitting against A.J. Burnett, a .364 career average for Phillips, who got the Reds going last night after he walked against Liriano when the first man was retired, and then he stole second. Carries the bat down halfway to first, and
he's something.
He's something, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is really something. Brother.
Yeah. I think he really enjoys watching Brandon Phillips play.
I think that's a good point. The Reds writers and the rest of the Reds public had a good taste of Brandon Phillips 3 weeks ago when he called out that writer. Walked into Dusty Baker's office and threw out a handful of expletives and a writer.
Yeah, you really could only print or say half of the statement or his tirade.
Yep.
Now, A.J. Burnett, we're hearing that he is involved more into a low ball pitcher. And, you know, no surprise, everybody that doesn't throw 105 miles an hour would like to be a low ball pitcher. So he's trying to keep the ball down more, perhaps than before. But, yeah, that would be the goal of everybody. But he's still got enough where he is striking out a lot of people. 176 innings, 191 strikeouts.
He's got it both going. When he needs to strike out, he seems to be able to get it, and he gets a lot of ground balls. Now he also
swings and misses those low curves.
Yeah. Also gives up the stolen base, 22 this year in 24 attempts. As Joey Votto, who hit his 24th home run of the year last night, just over the left field wall in the 10th inning, giving the Reds the victory. Keep paying a lot of attention to Brandon Phillips.
How about the
rainbow,
change?
huh?
Yeah, we got the rainbow. It was a miserable day, and it was a miserable early evening till about half an hour ago, and it broke, and it's gorgeous now.
Great looking rainbow right above us. And here is Joey Votto now at the plate with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Votto, the best on base percentage in the league. 433 on base. Most walks in the league with 125. He's a 333 career hitter against A.J. Burnett.
And he'll strike out. 133 strikeouts.
Does not get that call, and it's 2-1 on Votto. A tie-breaking homer with 1 out on the top of the 10th last night.
Brandon Phillips not running a lot this year. He's been successful 5 out of 8 tries. So if AJ gives Russell Martin a chance, if he runs, he doesn't.
Big cut there from Votto. It's 2-2.
And there's a curveball. Wasn't AJ's best curveball, but if you are a hitter up there looking for a fastball and you get the hook, and at the last minute you want to take a run at it, sometimes you don't really apply your best swing, your best stroke. He might have been looking for something else. If he had been looking for a curveball, that was a pretty sweet one to hit.
On base percentage leaders. You see the top 3 here playing tonight's game. Shin-Soo Choo is not playing tonight. Chu is a 200 career hitter against Burnett. Stays 2-2 on Votto.
Yeah, I was looking at this pitching matchup, Greg, Bailey and Burnett. Other than the fact that Bailey's got some more innings in because of AJ's injury, a lot of similarities all the way down to the fact that AJ has hit 9 batters or 8 batters and the other guys hit 9. So they're chapter and verse: strikeouts, walks, home runs given up. Bailey has been touched up more than AJ in that category, but a lot of similarities.
Did he go? Appeal? No, says Mark Carlson.
Now, this crowd is ready to make some more noise, and they're letting the umpires know that they don't have amnesia. They're still thinking about last night, some of the things that went on. Anytime you run as an umpire, you run the hometown manager. You're probably going to hear it for the rest of that game and perhaps the rest of the series.
Runner goes, and it's ball 4. Two on. Our Barrel Automotive League leaders stat, where the Reds and Pirates rank in terms of hit by pitches. Reds second in the majors, being hit, ranked 6th in hitting opponents with pitches, while the Pirates rank 1st in each category. Barrel Automotive were driven to be better. The Pirates hitters have been hit more than any other team, and Pirates pitchers have hit more batters than any other team. 5 Reds batters have been plunked 11 times. 5 Pirates batters have been plunked 12 times this season. By these 2 clubs. And there is a ball on Ryan Ludwig. He was a big part of the comeback last night. Well, first of all, he had the RBI single in the first inning. Then he singled in the 9th with 1 out. That started it. Ended up 3 for 5 on the evening.
Close. And home plate umpire Jerry Davis explaining that to Clint Hurdle. And Jerry Davis making a very legitimate call. Most of the time they do.
2-1 now on Ludwig. Came off his foot. Most of this season on the disabled list for Ludwig.
That's what a veteran like Ryan Ludwig really wants, to be hurt a good bit of the season, then bang that ball off his foot like that.
Tore up his right shoulder opening day, sliding headfirst into third base. Didn't play again until August the 12th. Had surgery on the shoulder 2 years ago. Came over to the Pirates, and he would never make it an excuse, but pretty certain that he was far from 100%. He tried to play through the pain in a Pirates uniform, and it just didn't work out. In the 38 games, he had 232. Bounce back season for him last year, his first with the Reds. 2-2. A couple of veteran batters here in a pennant race. 35-year-old Ryan Ludwig, the 36-year-old A.J. Burnett.
Being looked upon and judged by a young fan who's decorated up, ready to go for this game tonight.
Tops that ball foul.
Stays alive against the curveball. AJ, I think ranked #1 in terms of strikeouts per 9 innings in the National League. So again, always good to have that strikeout package in your back pocket, whether it be a high fastball or a low curve.
Of course, early on, the strikeout would be nice, but a ground ball by Ludwig would be even better to an infielder. And a shot off the glove of the shortstop. It's going to be 1-0 Cincinnati. Hard hit ball. Barmes can't handle it. It's 1-0 Reds.
Looked like a line drive that got on the ground just in front of Clint, which really made the situation be inside or inside hop to him. See, that ball was in the air for a while, and then in between hop, perhaps, whatever, handcuffed him, and the Reds are on the board.
Might not have even clipped the glove. Looked for a moment that it did, but maybe just stayed down on Barmes, and now it is 1-0. Here's Jay Bruce. If Barmes comes up with a play, it's certainly above average. It's an easy double play.
He caught in between on those, because that did have a lot of line drive on it before it got on the ground.
Bruce with 103 RBIs, tied for second in the RBI department in the National League. The 30 homers, third most. He was 0 for 5 last night, and a 143 hitter against A.J. Burnett.
And we'll remind you once again, these big left-hand hitters can swing and miss a lot. 176 strikeouts for Bruce.
Ground ball, second. There's one, and there's two. Like last night. The Reds strike first in the first. Ludwig singles. It is 1-0. Toes followed by Neil Walker. These two will step up again. Tabata with this home run, his 6th to tie it. The next batter, Neil Walker, gave the Bucks a 2-1 lead. Back to back.
What a start. What a script we had written for most of the night last night. Those two bombs to start out things, and then Liriano being brilliant. Just didn't play out. Couldn't get the curtain down on the final act.
Ball one.
Homer Bailey, start number 31. His statistics, ERA pretty similar to AJ's, 11-10 on the year. Very good career numbers against the Pirates, 8-3 lifetime for Homer Bailey, including that no-hitter last year.
How about a PNC Park 5-0, 140 ERA with 3 complete games and 6 starts in this yard.
Ouch. Won't you go home, Homer Bailey?
Yes,
won't
please.
You go home?
Please, won't you go home? 3-0.
I think you were pointing out too early on, Greg, that he's on a roll right now in this season. 6-0 his last, 9 starts?
That no-hitter he pitched here last season was September 28th, and then July 2nd of this year he tossed another against the Giants. He is becoming the pitcher that they had all along believed he would. He was drafted in the first round of 2004, 7th overall in that draft.
Out of LaGrange, Texas.
Meanwhile, Jose Tabata has become an interesting story because he has been starting most nights in left field and leading off with Starling Marte out. And Marte came back for a couple of games, trying to get past the discomfort of that sprained finger. This chopper over the mound. And Phillips not able to make the play. It's an infield hit. Here is the rest of the Pirates lineup. Jose Tabata, the infield single, last 20 games, hitting .311. Neil Walker coming up, then Andrew McCutchen, Justin Morneau, Marlon Byrd. Will be followed by Pedro Alvarez hitting 6th, Russell Martin behind the plate, Barmas and Burnett. So Tabata gets the hit, and when the other night Starling Marte on Thursday afternoon not able to make the game because he and his wife celebrating the birth of their first child. And Tabata took full advantage of that. It was 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. And on base 4 times. Walker bunts it foul. And Tabata last night 2 for 4, the home run, an RBI. Marte available tonight, but this is the dilemma for Clint Hurdle and the Pirates. They wanted to try and get Marte as many at bats as he could to see if he can contribute for postseason, because Hurdle says he's not going to have Marte on the postseason roster as just a pinch runner and defensive replacement.
Well, Tabata has done a lot to create that scenario.
Yeah. 1-2 on Walker. 217 hitter lifetime against Bailey.
Seems like Homer Bailey's been around a long time. He was drafted a lot of years ago. 27 years old. Still got a lot of right-hand power in that shoulder. 94, 95, 96 miles an hour in the fastball.
Oh, nice pick by the third baseman Hanahan. They get 1, they don't get 2.
That was. He had the glove in the right spot. He got caught a little bit like Barmas got caught with that ball being in the air a long time. And well, sometimes you can get caught in between hops. He had the glove in the right spot and he came that close to getting the double play.
Long time defensive wizard over there at third base. Hanahan, the former Indian, almost turned that into 2. Year-old Jack Hanahan getting the start at third base. So Walker on first with 1 out, and here is Andrew McCutchen. 324 lifetime against Bailey.
You know, if Hanahan doesn't make that play, think of that. You know, you got first 2 runners on base. You got Andrew McCutchen coming up. That's a different look.
He doesn't make that play. Tabata is at third and possible. Walker's at second.
Yep.
Now Bailey out in front of McCutchen. 0-2. McCutchen hitting .323, tied for third in the National League with Matt Carpenter, the Cardinals.
And you're going to see a good bit of this from Homer Bailey, Greg. 30 starts, 44 walks. He is ranked among the league leaders in control numbers.
Pitch in the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hannigan behind the plate, Hanahan at third base. Votto chatting away.
Took over for Sean Casey, maybe.
And there's Hanahan, another pick. Turns that one into a double play. Jack Hanahan. A couple of sparkling plays in the first inning, and it's 1-0 Reds.
pick in the smooth. It's like a flow. It's really, really smooth. Not jabbing at the ball or anything. Of course, didn't have much time to jab at that one, but that was an outstanding play.
Left-handed batter Jack Hanahan in the ball game. Todd Frazier the night off. Cozart drives one deep to left. And way out of here. Cozart's 12th. It's 2-0 Reds. Zach Cozart gives the Reds a 2-0 lead in the second.
Number 12 for him. Number 10 given up by AJ. Well, that's that just far enough up and just away from the hands far enough. That's in a power zone.
Now Jack Hanahan.
Up and in, but not far enough in.
Cozart's having a strong second half as Hanahan takes the ball. 5-game hitting streak for him now. Hitting .326 for his last 23 ball games. Hanahan, .261 career hitter against Burnett, and that is just foul. Mark Carlson was right on it. 1-2 the count on Hanahan. Down on strikes. Let's go to the studio for a game break. Cardinals not letting up.
No, they're in a rocking chair.
Matt Adams crushed one last night. This one tonight off Gallardo. Ryan Hannigan now. 1 for 11 lifetime against AJ Burnett. Burnett picks up the strikeout following the Cozart home run. 192 strikeouts now on the year. As Steve mentioned earlier, looking to reach the 200 mark for the 3rd time in his career. Came real close 2 other times. In 2009, he struck out 195. And in 2005, punched out 198. Last night, Francisco Liriano pitched certainly well enough to win a ball game. Should have. A great ovation for Francisco Liriano a couple of times last night, Steve. The atmosphere here was maybe so electric.
As strong as maybe any game so far this year, and we've had a lot to choose from. Electric moments.
He walks him, and when Liriano struck out his 1,000th of his career, and it was a note to put on the scoreboard, place erupted. But he apparently told the Pirates that that was enough. He had given it his all.
Yeah, when the pitcher comes to you and tells you that, then
you can't force him to go back out there.
No, and you know, usually they're not going to say that many times in that kind of situation. Although some pitchers do, I guess I shouldn't say that's a rule of thumb. There are a lot of pitchers that feel like if you've accomplished 8 innings, adrenaline will get you through the ninth. I mean, that's what some pitchers will tell you. But if a pitcher comes and tells you he's done, pretty much got to pull the trigger.
Bailey does a great job of sacrificing 11 times, but now swings away. Foul ball as Russell Martin went through with the play, but it was ruled a foul ball.
And Bailey is one of the best at this, moving runners over, ranked among the leaders.
Exactly where he feels it.
You don't know if it's wide as he reaches out, but it doesn't look like he had to go to his right too much.
Strike 3 call. Second K for Burnett. Pirates and Cardinals have split the season series now. 7 the Reds. 7 games apiece. Pirates and the Reds. And a team from Cincinnati.
Yep, and a lot of the stats showing that they've backed up the 7-7 record.
Derek Robinson, switch hitting center fielder. Batting just .218 from this left side of the plate, lined out to Tabata in left center field to start the game. So Martin scrambles to keep it close. Then Hurdle gave him 2 straight days off. And he'd be ready for this series. But it looks like that one stung. He was shaking his head.
That would be the curveball.
And a good one at that. 1-2.
Either Russell just had his nails done or he's got some really fancy stuff working. Puts down those fingers for this pitch selection.
Takes care of Robinson as he strikes out the side after he gives up the home run to Cozart. It is a 2-0 lead. night. They are in a rain delay, haven't thrown a first pitch yet. His problem started when he felt tightness in his right forearm warming up last Friday. So he was bumped to Thursday, then was scratched Thursday, and is scheduled to go tonight. From Allegheny Health Network, the injury update, and that was a hurting thing to see the Cozart home run. 2-0 Reds.
And these days, you don't want to let Mr. Bailey get too far down the road with the way he's been pitching recently.
Ball one on Morneau. He was 1 for 4 last night. Lined out. 4 for 8 his last 2 games. Morneau hitting .353 over his last 6. And he takes 2 balls and no strikes. Morneau, Bird, and Alvarez. Balls behind 3-0. Fell behind Tabata 3-0 and came back to a strike as Tabata reached on an infield single. And Bailey got a couple of sharply hit ground balls at Hanahan.
I've talked to a couple pretty knowledgeable baseball people that have told me they've seen video on Morneau's swing, kind of a classic kind of a swing that a lot of people pay a lot of attention to when they're teaching.
Well, he reaches. Leadoff walk.
He'd give up many, does Mr. Bailey?
Bailey's 3rd start this season against the Bucks.
Talk things over out there. And again, Mr. Bailey. Teek's in the building. More ways than one.
Bird 1 for 2, couple of walks last night. This is 24th Pirates game, hitting .301 in a Bucco uni. 2 of his 23 home runs hit while wearing Pirates black and gold as he takes ball 1. Three for 11. Lifetime against Homer Bailey.
You get a little perspective on the fact that Mr. Bailey was struggling a good bit. He's won 6 in a row, and he's overall 11-10. So he's worked very hard to get it up over the 500 mark. He had some early struggles. When you're 5-10, that's not much fun.
Look at this.
That's not much fun.
No. 6-4-3 BP. Routine as it can get there. Cozart to Phillips to Votto.
Yeah. Good looking pitch to hit, but he wasn't able to get to it. Creates an easy twin killing.
Marlon Bird hits into the double play. Alvarez now 2 for 4 last night. Now 2nd behind Paul Goldschmidt in the home run department with 34. He very well could have had 3 hits last night. Brandon Phillips made a fabulous play in a 1st inning ground ball. Robbed Alvarez of a hit and the Pirates of a run. It was the final out of that 1st inning.
Yeah, you can't call it a full shift. Except for third base, it is.
Roll to the right side. Votto, a little dribble. Still can't find the handle. Pretty darn routine there.
It was.
Joey Votto picks up his 14th error.
Sometimes you just try to slow things down and get a grip. He couldn't get a grip. Just in the transfer. Got it in the glove fine. Again, Health Network slowing it down for us. Supermo.
14 errors. It's a punch for a first baseman. Russell Martin at the plate. Fly ball deep. Deep. Back and gone. Clear the deck. Cannonball coming. Russell Martin. Number 15. And makes Votto and the Reds pay for that error. It's 2-2.
And you can light up a crowd with one pitch delivered or one hit produced. And Russell Martin wakes things up here in the North Shore. That quickly. Yeah, how do you think Joey Votto feels right now?
Oh.
And you just had the feeling he got enough of it. There it is, same neighborhood where Cozart got a pitch delivered to him that he could ride. Those are the power zones, up and in, but not too far in.
Joey Votto, 14 errors, the most among any first baseman in all of baseball. That may be the costliest he's had all year. 2-2. Toward right. And Bruce makes the catch. But Russell Martin's number 15. A long ball for the Pirates catcher. Makes his fellow Canadian pay for the miscue.
Mikowski. Well, last night we've seen every emotion possible in the game, from the lows to the highs in the beginning up until the extreme lows at the end of the game last night. And I asked Clint Barmes what kind of tone that sets for the rest of the series.
You know, it's as close as you're going to get to the playoffs, without a doubt. And that was last night was definitely a playoff feel, and it was exciting. It's going to be exciting tonight. It's going to be exciting from here on out, and I don't think anyone in here would want it any other way.
Yeah, and I think Clint Barmes is getting exactly how they want it. He wouldn't have it any other way, Greg. I think we saw a little bit of those emotions already tonight, going down 2-0 and tied as 2-2. Clint Hurdle was asked if last night, you know, his motto, showering off and going, getting back at it the next day. He asked if that was the biggest shower they need to take of the season. He goes, yep, we were challenged pretty good after the game last night. And obviously, they responded well to early adversity here in this one.
And they usually have, Robbie. I think that one thing they have done well, there have been some really disappointing losses, none more disappointing certainly than that one, but they have done a good job.
And the thing, too, you got to look at the timing, too. That kind of game, probably when they were really in the hunt to get into postseason play, would have hurt even more. Now, they're pretty certain to get in it. But if they were still, trucking along, saying, "Oh boy, I hope we get to play after the regular season," I mean, it would have been more devastating. More devastating.
We were talking a lot today about where that one ranks in terms of disappointing losses. People are saying it's the most disappointing loss since the '92 playoff game in Atlanta.
Wow.
Maybe, but in Pittsburgh, Steve, I go back to, I think it was 1988. Do you remember when the Pirates, the Mets were the big bad boys of the National League East then? And the Pirates have been beaten up badly for most of the decade, the 80s, and it started to gain some traction. It looked like they had the makings of a team that was going to, picked up LaValliere, Van Slyke, Bonds was coming on, Bonilla, and their closer was Jim Gott. It was I think it was a sellout at Three Rivers, or a bunch of people. Late summer game against those Mets. They had the lead, and Gott came on, and Howard Johnson hit a big game-crushing home run.
I do remember that. Yep.
That's what I thought of almost immediately after the game last night. And this was the moment, June 29, 1988, game-tying homer off Jim Gott, who was a lights-out closer. He would later say that was not the pitch he was asked to throw, and the Mets went on to win that ball game. It was a crushing defeat.
I do remember that. I do remember it.
The following year, the Pirates had a bunch of injuries early on in 1989.
Was that during the era where Dwight Gooden was calling the Pirates Little Leaguers?
Yep. Wasn't easy to take, but it's one of those games. And here we're harkening back to 1988. Don't think the people that were there that day will ever forget it. The people that were here last night will ever forget.
25 years.
Big strikeout of Brandon Phillips.
He didn't give in and throw him the fastball. AJ enough confidence to throw the breaking ball and gets rewarded. Number 4. Boy, and you can't take that pitch. You have to swing. That's just a perfecta. You tip your cap. Well, most people tip their cap. I doubt whether Brandon Phillips would. And you take the lumber back to the bench.
Oh, in the air to shallow left. And that's going to drop in for Votto. Catch all the action of the 2013 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox, TBS, and MLB Network starting October 1st. We're just getting started. When you think about it. Well, look at what's going on in the American League. You look what's happening here between these two clubs and the Cardinals. This is what you play for. This is why you're a fan of the game. So many people have waited so long to see meaningful baseball.
I was just thinking of that. I'm trying to think of when I first started hearing that phrase in the last 20 years. I want to play meaningful September baseball. Here we are. First day of autumn, I think. And we're involved.
0-2 on Ludwig. RBI single in the first.
See if AJ is really starting to get this strikeout program going here. He's got 4. Struck out the side in and around that home run on the second, in the second. The hook, Captain Hook.
Oh.
Another perfecta. You cannot take that pitch because you're thinking that it's going to pick up that outside corner, and you can't take the chance. If you swing at it, there's not much you can do with it. That pretty much is where he threw the one to Brandon Phillips. You talk about two perfected curveballs, one to Phillips and one to Ludwig. They're dandies. And the reason you swing at the perfectas, it's better than getting called out on strikes. At least you took a whack at it.
Shift on against Jay Bruce. Let's take a look at
Brandon
this
Phillips.
pitch.
Right on that corner, right very much on that corner. Ryan Ludwig, right on that corner. Those are dandies. He's going to start up the K car. I think there used to be a model of car called the K car.
Adam Elmore, our producer, had the old Plymouth Reliant K car.
Yep. Looks like he might have sold it back to AJ.
Trying to go back to the breaking ball, but Bruce wasn't buying that one. Votto at first base with 2 outs in a 2-2 game here in the third. Bruce hit into a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play in the first inning.
And AJ has some wiggle room here. When you get out in front 0-2, 1-2, I mean, especially with a strikeout kind of a hitter, these guys been known to chase. And why not take a shot upstairs when you got people thinking about low and outside curveballs? Throwing a bunch of pitches, but boy, if you look out in the Pirate bullpen, you got 8,000 people out there available.
Runner goes on the 2-2 pitch, and it's lined right at. Who is that man at second? That's Pedro Alvarez. That shift worked. Poem homework, Bucks fans. Will he get an A? This is entitled Raise the Jolly Roger by Owen Chaffin. We'll read it here in a moment. Broken bat, pop up. Barrel of the bat winds up right near third, and feet of Hanahan, but the play made easily by Cozart onto the outfield grass on the broken bat, hit by A.J. Burnett. So the poem. I love to watch the Pirates play ball. In PNC Park, the crowds are not small. I have the most fun when I go with my dad. The Buccos are winning. It makes us so glad. Clear the decks. Makes the crowd yell and roar. Pittsburgh Pirates playoffs. I want some more.
Well, that's A+.
Great job, Owen.
That might be a passing grade for the year.
Great stuff. And we had Governor Tom Corbett in the radio booth with us last night, and he made the point, as he has been watching from the governor's mansion in Harrisburg, watching these games on Root Sports, how great it is to see the young fans back.
Yep, absolutely.
Ball hit right to Phillips.
And it's good to know that the Gov is keeping track of the Pirates instead of the Phillies.
He made it a point that he grew up a big Pirates fan in the area, so. Yeah, young Owen, who penned that A+ poem, and all kinds of youngsters on hand to see Pirates baseball.
That's so great. That's so great. The more the merrier. That's how you pass the game along. Get them out here. A lot of these kids have not been exposed to much Pirate baseball. The last 3 years, they have been. They really have been.
Neil Walker. Ball, no strikes.
And then talking about the youngsters, and I just want to give a shout out to 2 young ladies who have really, well, they're a little under the weather. They're suffering from Pirate fever. Mia Arnone and Alexa Gelsheiser.
What was that again? Who are they? Repeat that.
Mia Arnone.
Yes.
Yep. And Alexa Gelsheiser.
That's right.
Out in the South Hills. They've got buck fever.
All popped up to third, and 1, 2, 3 on 7 pitches. It is a 2-2 ball game.
Where winners eat fresh. And by Day Automotive, we're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks!
And our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. On this date in 1925, Kai Kyler singles in his first 2 at-bats of the game, giving him hits in 10 straight at-bats. That tied a National League record. He fouled out his 3rd at-bat to end the string, but the Pirates would win the game, beating Philadelphia 9-7. The next day, Kyler went 4 for 5, 2 homers against the Phils. It was his 3rd 4-hit game in a 4-game stretch. Thanks, Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Hall of Famer Kai Kyler.
Remember when we met his grandson?
Yep.
Down on the island? Had a nice talk.
Kai Kyler played for the Bucks in the 20s, 1921 through 1927, and 321 in his Pirate career. And that was neat to be down there and hear from his grandson.
First name? Hazen.
How about that? Who, the grandson or his grandfather?
No, the grandfather. Kai.
On a strike on Cozart. Homered to lead off the second.
I hope that's right. Might have been Fred.
It wasn't Zach. 2-1. Or Alan James, as his manager calls him. A.J. Burnett. Alan James Burnett. Cozart's got the beard started.
Red beard.
He looked a lot like Alex Presley before the beard.
Yeah, I'll buy that one.
Burnett in his second year with the Pirates. He told Karen Price of the Pittsburgh Tribune Review maybe 50-50 as to whether he would play another year or go back home. Oh, nice pick there by Pedro Alvarez, and guns to first.
Well done. Some in-betweeners going out to these infielders.
Yeah, especially at third. Jack Hanahan made a couple nice plays, and now here, Pirate third baseman Pedro Alvarez.
Yeah, those balls that stay up in the air, and then they'll get out there and they'll handcuff you. They'll get to you. You're in between. You haven't got time to charge them. You really don't have much time to back off and take a better hop either. Hope you have the glove and or the body in the right position.
Hanahan facing Burnett with one out in the fourth. Burnett was on the wrong end his last time out against the Padres on Monday. Andrew Kashner nearly pitched a perfect game. Burnett gave up 2 runs in 6 2/3 innings. Pirates were blanked 2-zip. Gave up those 2 runs in the 7th inning. It was 0-0 through 6.
Sometimes just pitch on the wrong night.
Ball 2 strikes. This is his second start against the Reds since his July 20th outing in Cincinnati. Gave up 5 runs, 2 earned on 10 hits in 5 2/3. He gets another strikeout. That's 6.
That's really tied him up inside. Marching. That's now 197. Not much you can do with that one. And that's out in that neighborhood, whether it's against a lefty or a righty. And that ball just keeps biting. Keep biting away from his hitting zone, and just nothing you can do with it.
He certainly didn't want to walk the number 8 hitter in the second inning, Ryan Hannigan. He won't this time. Barmes. And 1-2-3. Go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Reds and Bucks are tied at 2.
Oh, we got a 2-2 ball game. Just want to, this is kind of a fun thing. The lady with the blonde hair to her right, the guy with the pirate hat, his name is Jack Sheeran. And he and his family are out here from New Jersey. On his bucket list, he wanted to reconnect with a teammate from the 1961 Batavia Pirates. We played together back in the day and had a nice visit with Jack Sheeran and his family. So good to see a guy that.
So he played with you in '61 in Batavia.
Yeah,
that's neat.
We're 18 years old, 19 years old. Jack Sheeran. Good memories.
Andrew McCutchen would like to create some good memories for this crowd. 0-1. McCutchen hit the ball hard at Jack Hanahan. He turned it into a double play in the first.
By the way, a little history with that Batavia team. Gene Baker, former Pirate, who played the previous year in '60 with the Pirates in the World Series. The first black manager in an organizational setting from a major league organization to manage. Yep. Gene Baker.
Now, what level was Batavia?
Class D back then.
Which is
comparable to what? Would have been a high A. I guess. I don't know.
It's a New York Penn League club now. Yep. Batavia.
It was a NYP league back then.
Two and 1 on Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen played in the New York Penn League, Williamsport, 2005.
And if anybody way back when had a chance to meet or say hello to Gene Baker, you were lucky to be around one of the really nice people, good people in baseball. Gene Baker, Davenport, Iowa.
2-2 count on McCutchen.
Another catch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going around this town.
And now a full count. McCutchen is in his 4th full year in the major leagues. Struck him out looking.
Number 1 for Bailey.
How about that?
Close enough to get that 3rd strike call.
Here's Morneau.
I'll tell you, it's amazing. It makes you realize how good major league pitchers are when you look at that grid and you can see how many balls are right on those lines, the side to side or the up and down lines. I mean, nobody likes to work in the middle of that hitting zone, and that's the goal.
But that is the truth. So rare do you see the balls right there in the middle, right? When they are in the middle, usually they get crushed.
Yeah. The yellow baseball flutters a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Jeff Locke stayed out of that middle part of the zone as consistently first half, 2/3 of the season than I've seen in a while. He was making quality pitch after quality pitch. The volume of those quality pitches, very impressive.
Jeff Locke goes tomorrow. And the Pirates go to Chicago for 3 against the Cubs. Off day Thursday in Cincy. Finish up the regular season against these Reds. Morneau fouls another pitch back. Morneau at 259 with 17 homers and 74 RBIs with the Twins before being traded to Pittsburgh. And another foul ball. game critical. The season series is awfully important when it comes to a wild card playoff game. Of course, neither the Reds nor the Pirates have conceded the division yet. And back-to-back strikeouts for Homer Bailey. He gets McCutchen looking. Morneau swinging. First 2 Ks of the night for Bailey. Football season is underway, and you can get the latest on your favorite teams during Press Conference Tuesday on Root Sports. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin takes the podium first, live at noon, followed by Pitt's Paul Christ at 1, and WVU head coach Dana Holgerson at 1:30. Press Conference Tuesday each week starting at noon on Root Sports. Marlon Byrd into a double play his first time.
You get the idea these two right-handers are heating up. Bailey hitting 97 or 98 on that last delivery. Sometimes I won't even choose between 97 and 98 because to me high 90s, that's sacred ground. One or the other pretty good, real good.
Out in front of Bird, 0-2.
And so far, Greg, we're getting through the will we have a moments pretty smoothly so far. I'm sure you've got a couple.
So?
Oh yeah, I think the shout out to the two young lady Pirate fans went well. My buddy from back in '61.
Yeah.
And, I'd take a shot if I were you.
No, I'm gonna wait this thing out.
All right.
And a line drive base hit for Bird into center. Marlon Byrd singles to center field. That'll make David Smith and his wife Elaine happy. They're watching this ball game on Root Sports. They were here last night. There's the base hit.
Well, we have a moment. Nicely done.
I also understand that we're being shown on the Jumbotron at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. as they wait out that rain delay. And
makes sense to do that, doesn't it?
Nationals fans are very much into this game. They haven't given up the idea of being one of the wild card teams.
No, they're certainly not playing like they've given up.
Nobody seems to be slowing down the Nats. 1-1 on Alvarez. The Nationals start the day 5 back of the Reds and Pirates in the wild card chase.
They're trying to give Clinton Hurdle a dose of what he did to everybody in baseball, or the National League at least, when he made that big time September run. 22 out of 23.
Yeah.
Crazy good.
Speaking of the Nats, Pirates' magic number to clinch a playoff berth is 4. A combination of 4 Pirate wins, 4 Nationals wins, losses. Any combination of Nats losses and Pirates wins totaling 4, and the Pirates are in. And Alvarez, swing and a miss. He reached on the air by first baseman Joey Votto in the second. And Russell Martin took full advantage with the game-tying home run. Oh, Bailey ends up with 3 strikeouts in the inning after the base hit by Bird. He gets his Alvarez. It is 2-2.
Roberto, it's always special to celebrate your Father's Day, a day in his honor. What was it like for you to have your family here in Pittsburgh?
I tell you what, it was great. It's always great to be back home. This is home for us, and having the family here for the event was very special.
Now, a unique thing here we have coming out, it's a book here, just came out. It's called Clemente, The True Legacy of an Undying Hero, and the stories are told by the entire Clemente family. For fans of your father and fans of the Pirates, what can they expect in this book?
I tell you what, it's a very close look from the family's point of view. Dad was a very special man. Many books have been written, but after 40 years, we decided it was time for us to tell the story ourselves.
You know, a special thing, your brother Ricky didn't fly very much, but for the first time in 21 years, he flew here to Pittsburgh. What was that like for him?
I tell you what, 21 years, it's amazing how the mystical point of the number 21, and for him to get out of Puerto Rico and be here was a very, very true, great feeling for us to have him back in Pittsburgh.
Roberto, thank you. We wish you best of luck.
Thank you, Robbie. Appreciate it.
Greg, how about that? Clemente, it's going to be a great book and great stories told about the great Roberto Clemente.
And Robbie, one of the stories that was told to us, of course, you were there when Clint Hurdle told us the conversation he had with the Clemente family in the dugout early this season, and Roberto Jr. and Vera were there, and I think maybe in unison they said you can't lose for 21 straight years. It has to end before it reaches 21. And Clint Hurdle made that point.
Yeah, one other connection with that magical number. And it's great to see them come back. We had a fundraiser down at the Clemente Museum the night before last, and the family was there. Great turnout, great testimonial. And it just goes on and on. And from the family's perspective, that's a whole different thing. That should be really a personal feel for Pirate fans and people that just have lived in Pittsburgh. From the family, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I really am.
Great picture, isn't it?
Look at the size of the hands. Unbelievable. Big hands.
Derek Robinson at the plate with one out in a 2-2 ball game. Roberto would have liked this. What's going on here, wouldn't he?
Oh.
I know he was involved in it, but if he were live today, I can only imagine, Steve, how much he would enjoy watching his Pirates and Reds playing in a very meaningful game in late September.
As the governor of Puerto Rico, he would come up here and take in a lot of this.
As Steve is very much convinced that that's where Clemente would have, when he ended his playing career, he would have ended up being in charge of the whole state, the whole country.
I believe that would be the case, because I don't think he would have been sidetracked by political interests. He had the touch and the feel for the common man, and he was so passionate about that. And that would have really been the big part of his appeal from a service to Puerto Rico standpoint.
Well, meanwhile, that's 8 strikeouts, and this is kind of an intriguing matchup, isn't it? A.J. Burnett 1 strikeout shy of 200 for the season now, and he faces Brandon Phillips.
The curveball, the A.J. Burnett curveball.
Recently, some Pirate players at a Bucko Kids Club event, where they were asking all kinds of great questions. I forget which couple of relievers were in the room, and they were asked, which player would you like to strike out the most? They both said Brandon Phillips. So I think for a 200,
word is out.
Would like this. One. Phillips singled and scored in the first, struck out in the third. And it's 0-2.
As you said, 2 times, but he's come very close 3 other times, or 2 other times, to get to that magic 200 strikeout number.
198 strikeouts in 2005, 195 strikeouts in 2009, but he's 1 strikeout shy of 200 right now.
Those numbers are milestones, like the Liriano 1000th strikeout of a career, 200 in a season. That's kind of magic stuff if you have an appreciation for pitching.
2-2, couldn't get Phillips to chase. He has struck out the first 2 here in the 5th. He has struck out 3 of the last 4. Just got a piece of it. Brandon Phillips with 101 runs batted in. And Jay Bruce teaming up to drive in 100. First set of Reds teammates with 100 ribbies each in a season since Johnny Bench and George Foster did it in 1977. Another 2-2 pitch. And he stayed alive.
Just a quick follow-up on the Clemente thing. There was only one person that could ever really scream at Clemente and torture him, and just in a good way. Juan Pizarro, who's also from Puerto Rico, was on our club in the mid to late 60s, and he would just holler at Clemente on the buses, and we would all cringe and sit back. But they had been buddies and grew up, together in Puerto Rico, and it was just hilarious to watch him work him. Clemente wouldn't tolerate much of that sort of thing from anybody else, but Pizarro was different. Juan Pizarro, who had a very good major league career, by the way.
2-2 on Brandon Phillips with 2 outs in a 2-2 ball game. As Steve said, Bailey and Burnett seem to be locked in right now, and Burnett looking to retire Phillips. The 8th pitch of this at bat. And hits a fly ball toward right center. McCutchen is over. McCutchen there. A.J. Burnett has retired 8 straight. A.J. Burnett reacts to getting Brandon Phillips.
Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture and the all-new Levin Mattress Stores. For a great deal on a new bed, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Russell Martin tied this game in the 2nd inning with his 15th home run. He's now 5 for 12 lifetime against Homer Bailey. 19th home run allowed by this right-hander. It's the bottom third of the Pirates' order. Bucks with just 3 hits. There's a Talbot an infield single, the Martin homer, and a Marlon Byrd base hit. 1-2 on Martin. 15 home runs and 55 RBIs. Michael McHenry cheering on his teammates in the dugout. And this is to center field, and Robinson. So Martin is the first out in the bottom of the 5th. Bailey's 31st start of the year. He's gone over 200 innings now for the season. Turned 27 back in May, but already 142 big league starts and 2 no-hitters.
A couple of complete games this year and a shutout. Went the whole way against Miami and then shut out the Giants. Yeah, I guess he would shut out the Giants with no hits.
Talking about Burnett looking for 200 strikeouts, now at 199, while Bailey sits at 196. He's looking to become only the 11th Reds pitcher since 1882 to pick up 200 strikeouts in a season. It's been accomplished 16 times in Reds history. Jim Maloney did it 4 times. Mario Soto 3. Aaron Harang did it a couple of times. Grounded to short. And a little wide, but no problem for Votto to take that throw from Cozart. Let PNC Park's great views be the backdrop for your next holiday party. A lot of catering options available. Various event spaces. There's the Rivertown Brewing Hall of Fame club out in left field. There's the Lexus Club behind home plate and much more. For booking info and to date availability, call 1-800-5BUCKS or go to pirates.com/PNC Park events. Burnett, a broken bat pop-up in the 3rd inning. He has 4 hits on the year and 55 at-bats. Downstairs. 64 pitches so far for Homer Bailey. Night out on the Allegheny. Bailey has been a pretty high pitch count guy this season. He's gone over 120 pitches 3 times this year. That no-hitter got done in 109 pitches. Pretty efficient for the right-hander Homer Bailey, and it's a strike on A.J. Burnett.
Strong right-hander, 6'4", 230 out of LaGrange, Texas.
104 pitches per start on average. Another injured Pirate, Jeff Karstens, on the bench. You need to reserve a spot these days. Those benches, and how about that? A walk to A.J. Burnett.
This is a guy that doesn't walk anybody. If I'm not mistaken, do you have a deep count on A.J. first time up?
For that broken bat. So
Anyway,
the second time that Burnett has drawn a walk this season. Tabata reached on an infield single and bounced to second. Again, if Tabata keeps hitting and we're down to the final week, it's going to make it difficult for Marte, should the Pirates, we figure they will reach the postseason, for him to be on the roster, not getting enough at bats. 0-2 the count. Tabata, his first career leadoff homer last night. Last 7 games hitting at a .409 clip. Time is called. Well, the Reds will be faced maybe with the, I don't know if it's a dilemma, but the question of whether to keep Billy Hamilton on their roster in the postseason, becoming a big-time stolen base threat. Swiped a bag right away last night, his 10th already for Dusty Baker, and that led to a run. Game-tying run, in fact, on the base hit off of Alvarez's glove. Johnny Cueto will pitch for the Reds on Monday. They are going to be taking on the Mets in Cincinnati. Tabata bounces to short. Easy toss for Cozart to Phillips. 5 innings complete in game 2 of this 3-game series. It's 2-2.
Home game of the regular season tomorrow between these two guys. Interesting stuff here going on the warning track at PNC Park. Well, Joey Votto, deadlocked at 20 all the way. How about that? Well, Joey Votto getting set to lead things off here for the Cincinnati Reds, and there have been 3 Canadian MVPs in the history of baseball, and in this series we're going to see 2 of them. Joey Votto back in 2010 was an MVP winner. Justin Morneau, that makes up 2 of the 3, and then Larry Walker's the other one. So here they are, Morneau with the Minnesota Twins back in 2006. Remember, Larry Walker had some fantastic years, was an MVP winner back in 1997. And the unique tie-in, Justin Morneau, you knew where wore number 33 his entire career with the Twins, of course, until he came here to the Pirates. And the main reason he did that was because of the appreciation he had for Larry Walker. It was his favorite baseball player growing up and a fellow British Columbian. So pretty cool thing here, Steve and Greg and Steve, to see 2 of the 3 Canadian MVPs to ever play the game of baseball on the same field, and we'll see them 5 more times here, counting tonight, before the season ends. Hopefully the one in black and gold will make a bigger impact.
I'm very proud, of course, to hail from Canada, both Votto and Morneau. And as we've talked about earlier, Robbie, an interesting factoid, the Pirates have had more Canadians play on their team than any other team in baseball history. The Phillies are second. There's Canadian Russell Martin. Pirates' first Rookie of the Year is Canadian Jason Bay.
Trail, British Columbia.
1-2 on Votto.
Well, when Larry Walker was doing it for the Lake Street Bombers, Bouchette, Vinny Castilla.
There were people talking about those guys, not only Bichette and Castilla and Ellis Burks, Andres Galarraga, but Larry Walker leading the way, and as Robbie said, an MVP. And talking to a lot of the coaches back then on that Rocky staff, they marveled at Walker's natural ability for a guy that grew up just a hockey player. What a great baseball player he became playing for Hurdle.
And a great arm, too. Get it back in very quickly, as easily as you could send it out the other direction.
Maybe the best base runner they had seen during that time.
And only one time forgot how many outs there were. Remember the famous thing at Dodger Stadium? He made a catch in foul territory and handed the ball to a fan.
With 2 outs. A.J. Burnett rings up number 200 for the season by striking out Joey Votto. And, Pirate fans will be told of that accomplishment.
Well, I hope that gets up on the big board. I mean, that's notable.
Yep. 200 punch outs on the year for A.J. Burnett. We got Ludwig in the third. Last season, Burnett's first in a Pirates uniform after being acquired from the New York Yankees. He struck out 180. This is his first 200 strikeout season since his last year with the Blue Jays in 2008. One ball, one strike on Ludwig. Great ovation last night for Francisco Liriano for his 1,000th career strikeout. Well, for A.J. Burnett, how about 2,000? 2,171 in his career. Three and one on Ludwig.
That is really impressive. This guy's won 145 major league games, over 2,000 strikeouts. A lot of accomplishment right there.
One out walk. Ludwig aboard.
Number 3.
Two ball game each pitch at this point critical. 6th inning. They have Ludwig on with 1 out. Bruce has hit into a double play and lined out to third. 103 RBIs on the year for Bruce. He lined out to Alvarez. Alvarez was on the second base side of second base. That was with Votto on at first and 2 outs. So this time Alvarez is playing the shortstop position.
Bruce trails only Pedro Alvarez in terms of National League strikeouts. Got a chance to get a notch closer right here. AJ's got him in a tough spot.
He 40 doubles, 30 homers, 100 RBIs this season for Bruce.
He has not been one of the 9 strikeout victims, but stay tuned.
And he is now. And that's 10 for A.J. Burnett. A.J. Burnett strikes out 10 batters for the second time this season. First time he did it was opening day here against the Cubs. He struck out 10 Cubbies in 5 2/3 innings. His career high, by the way, Steve, is 14 strikeouts in a game.
Yep, not the big numbers like the 14, but remarkably consistent in ringing them up, win or lose.
And that off the glove on the backhand attempt. So that's a big wild pitch. It allows Ludwig to go to second base. Martin tried to backhand it.
All the way back.
One ball, one strike.
It's wild pitch number 12. Jay. It's going to happen with the curveballs, no matter who's back there. It has so much spin, and if you have to reach out, that compounds the problem. You got to reach out and then consider the spin also. Double-edged.
Pirates pitchers throw a lot of breaking balls. One reason why they have the second most wild pitches uncorked this season in the National League, second behind only the Arizona Diamondbacks. Just by comparison, the Reds pitchers just 42 wild pitches, the Pirates 76. 2-1 on Cozart, homered in the second. Hit a hard ball to Alvarez his last time up. And it's 2-2.
It's a dark and full moon night over the left field area. It's pretty cool looking. Last portions of a full moon.
Trying to match his career high in a Pirate uniform and strikeouts in a ball game. This ball's fouled off. And that struck out 11 Astros September 23rd last year, which is a high mark in a Pirates uni. Bucket list. How about that one?
Perfect. That's pretty creative. I think he got some creative help with that.
I think.
Nonetheless, they're having a lot of fun with it.
Good stuff. Still 2-2 on Zach Cozart. Cozart has driven in 62 runs this season from that shortstop position. Jammed him, bounces it to Alvarez. Deep third, guns it to first, and that'll do it. A.J. Burnett applauds Alvarez's effort. He has punched out 10. It's still 2-2. thanks to Highmark. And don't forget, you can come early. The #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone out on Federal Street, just outside the ballpark. And after the game, kids can run the bases. Go to Pirates.com.
Well, nobody's given an inch. Early action, but a whole lot of pitching recently. Burnett, Bailey. That scarf that he's going to get tomorrow when he comes to the game is going to match that hat very nicely.
Neil Walker leads off against Bailey.
Could come down to the long ball. Pirates have hit one. Russell Martin. That was number 19 given up by Bailey. They take another one. Those examples of instant offense.
On a strike on Neil Walker. Gone deep in back-to-back games for the second time this season. Bailey, unblemished mark here at PNC Park. Count on Walker with McCutchen on deck, and then Morneau. Lined it foul, boy, very deep.
And very out in front.
Bailey, who's gotten Walker to bounce sharply to third and pop up to third baseman Jack Hanahan. Has given up 3 hits, 2 unearned runs. The home run came off Russell Martin's bat following the error that was charged to Votto. Walker fouls off another. Martin hit his 15th of the year and tied the game in the bottom of the second. Time is called to send along congratulations to Brian and Jamie DeCecco, birth of their daughter Marley Rose, born on Monday. A new Pirate fan, Marley Rose.
Nice little will we have a moment hit?
That wasn't mine.
Oh no, who was that? Mickey Mouse that read that?
Somebody in the truck, the trailer.
That was your well we have a moment.
Right.
Moment.
Two and two on Walker. Another 2-2 pitch. Lays off. He's having a good at bat here. Bailey here at PNC Park in his career is 5-0 with an earned run average of 140. Three and two on Walker. This one high and deep to center field, but Robinson will make the catch. The long at bat ends with Walker flying out to Robinson in center. And here's McCutchen, who struck out looking to start the fourth and bounced into a double play his first at bat. the ball. McCutchen hitting .259 against the Reds this season, so they've done a pretty good job of pitching to him. One ball, no strikes. Takes a strike at 96 miles per hour. Homer Bailey, it's 1-1. McCutchen was 0 for 3 in last night's game, plus a walk, and he was hit by a pitch. And another strike. It's 1-2.
And sometimes you wonder, a guy like Bailey that has this kind of stuff, why not more strikeouts in a given game? Now, he had 3 in the 4th inning. And it's such a fine line. You get in that groove with good stuff, and you're just going to blow people away. But it's hard to stay in that groove inning after inning after inning. So it shows up in the 4th. Other than that, the Pirates have been putting the ball in play.
Plays off that slider from Homer Bailey. It is 2-2 on Andrew McCutchen with 1 out in the 6th. Reds scored a run in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd. Pirates tied it in the bottom half.
Yes, catch it.
Oh. Bailey, like he slipped off the mound there. 3-2 count.
The front foot just kind of turning instead of digging in and holding.
Rained all day here in Pittsburgh. Full count on Andrew McCutchen. And he walked him with 1 out.
Okay, now let's see with 1 out if Andrew has stealing second on his mind. There's just nothing happen offensively. I'm sure the Reds will do what they can do to keep good track of him over at first base, but might see a little cat and mouse action between Bailey and McCutchen.
Third walk allowed by Bailey as Morneau drew a free pass in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th.
Bailey again has good control, but walked 4 last time out, so not squeaky clean at this point.
Ball 1. One and 0, 1 out. You see Phillips is playing Morneau to pull.
Go 2-0 against a veteran hitter, Morneau. That's dangerous business. So Justin sitting pretty good right now. First 2 deliveries missing.
Zach Cozart there, shaded towards second. Shortstop with the third baseman well off the line. 2-0. Quick throw, gets past Bono. McCutchen will take off for second. He's going to make third easily. He's at third with 1 out here in the 6th.
What a break. The pickoff attempt. And just sliding far enough away as Votto had to reach over Andrew. And now the race is on. It's an easy win if we call this a race. Comfortable trip for Andrew.
Here comes a Reds trainer. Probably to check on equipment. don't think that he'd be coming out there without his manager and pitching coach. And that's what it is. Trying to get some of that mud out.
Scraper working.
McCutcheon's speed playing a role as Bailey's pickoff attempt got past Votto. And the Pirates really made Votto and the Reds pay for the error back in the second. And now this one could prove very costly. Votto's error was his 14th of the season to lead the majors. As Homer Bailey continues to work on his spikes here. And now he's ready. The infield will come in all the way around.
Still the 2-0 count to Morneau. Puts him in a good position. Roll out of the infield.
Morneau with just one Pirate RBI. And this is 19th game, and it came as a pinch hitter. This has awakened the crowd again. He may not really care all too much if he loses Morneau, because Marlon Byrd is on deck. Byrd put into a double play in the second. Maybe being very careful, even though the infield is in. And ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Morneau.
You're right. Didn't look like he wanted any part of it.
Byrd into a double play last night. He hit into a double play on Wednesday night.
He wanted all of Morneau he could get when Andrew was at first base, but everything turned upside down with that throwing error.
Here's Marlon Byrd now.
Ryan Price out to talk with his pitcher.
Byrd has hit into double plays in 4 of his last 7 games. Going over strategy right now. Good to see neither Price nor Bailey covering up their mouths. That's a rarity, isn't it?
Yeah. Who knows how much we could learn right there.
I don't know. When was the last time you saw a pitching coach and a pitcher, not either one of them, cover up their mouths?
Well, the last time I saw that was when I saw a batter up there with no batting gloves.
But 60
for running.
Reds bullpen at work. Zach Duke, the lefty, the righty J.J. Hoover. Well, here is Marlon Byrd. This is one of the reasons the Pirates acquired him and Morneau. These big-time situations. A pennant race, veteran at the plate. Need to get that run home from third. Bailey will have something to say about it. Byrd single to center field in the 4th. But still with just 3 hits. Bailey has walked 4.
And he started him off with something other than a fastball. Too fast to be a curveball. Looked like a cutter, slider.
On a strike on Byrd.
Still no fastball.
4 for 13 in his career against Homer Bailey with 2 home runs.
I'm going to try to force Homer Bailey to get upstairs a little bit so he can get some lift.
In the air, plenty deep to bring home McCutcheon. Back is Robinson toward the wall. He will make the catch. Pirates will take the lead, and Morneau will tag and get into scoring position. Marlon Byrd delivers a big-time sacrifice fly to give the Pirates the lead.
And he continues to produce. He has done that since he arrived. this is more than enough and puts them on the warning track.
Bird likes it. His team now leading 3-2. The error does prove costly, and that is going to be it for Homer Bailey. An early exit, a rarity against the Pirates, and especially here at PNC Park. Bucks will go to work on the bullpen, and former Pirate Zach Duke.
Transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pittsburgh has pennant fever. Jam-packed here at PNC Park for the penultimate regular season home game. Light 'em up, Bucks. It is a sky blast.
In spite of a lousy day, they are here. See their Buccos.
Former Bucco Zach Duke.
Tough going for Zach so far. He's worked 27 innings for the Reds and given up 21 runs.
Joined the Reds August 30th. Has not allowed a run in 9 of his 10 appearances. He has retired the first batter in all 10 and has stranded all 9 inherited base runners. Started the year with the Nationals. Homer Bailey, the early exit. The National League All-Star with the Pirates in 2009.
Little sidewinder action. We're familiar from Zach to Pedro to start off the at-bat. Love two-out action. Still a chance to do some more of it. Yes, technically that run scored after 2 outs. Ball was caught.
Marlon Byrd sacrifice fly. And Alvarez lays off. Career numbers here. PNC Park. Former Pirate draft pick Zach Duke. Two and one. A strike in there, fastball. 2-2.
Greg gave you the accurate numbers for Cincinnati. I was looking at Zach Duke's overall numbers. Probably the reason he
started
was let
the year
go with Washington. Those numbers were awful, but right the next column down. He's been very good.
8.71 ERA with the Nats in 12 games.
And they still haven't started in Washington.
And this is probably Zach Duke's only batter. Righty up. Russell Martin on deck. So Duke needs to get Alvarez.
Long-time starter, Zach Duke.
J.J. Hoover still up. Big 3-2 pitch coming. The other way for the ball. This will bring home Morneau. Oh, the bull ripped it to left to give the Pirates a 2-run lead in the 6th.
How big is that? Pedro doesn't always go the opposite way, but this one sharply hit. And that is a huge run. Huge run. And Zach coming in to pitch to Pedro. It didn't work out.
Pedro Alvarez with his 94th RBI off the lefty Zach Duke. Morneau scores. And Alvarez gives the Pirates a 4-2 lead. J.J. Hoover coming on. The Gulf building is lit up. Fans loving the shot hit by Russell Martin, and what great shots from the Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl on a super night in the Berg. And here is Russell Martin to face J.J. Hoover.
Well, Pirates setting themselves up to chase all the demons away from last night. A ways to go. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I think we learned that lesson last night, didn't we?
Yeah,
we should.
We have all week.
Boy, yeah. Bounced to short. And forced there. Pirates pick up a couple of costly walks by Homer Bailey. Pirates made them pay. Pedro Alvarez, Marlon Byrd, Hutch and Morneau and Burnett back to the hill. Fireworks barges are getting ready, but still some action here on the field. And A.J. Burnett, Jason Steele, one of the gypsies in the trailer, came up with this pretty neat note. History made tonight. How about this? A.J. Burnett with his 200 strikeouts this season. The only right-hander in Pirates history with 200 or more strikeouts.
Wow. That is something different right there. That's a lot of pitching over the years for Pirate right-handers, and the first time. And guys like Bob Friend, who pitched 20 years, and Vernon Law.
The previous high mark was set back in 1891 by Marcus Baldwin. He struck out 197. In the modern era, Chris Benson struck out 184 in the 2000 season. Steve, we haven't seen the Majestic much this season. That's good to see.
Yep. Majestic.
Now here is a very important 7th inning for Burnett and the Pirates. They lead 4-2.
I hope it doesn't run into the fireworks barge.
Ball, 1 strike. There's 100 pitches now. Bullpen action in the Pirates bullpen. And Hanahan, Hannigan, and the pitcher spot due up here in the top of the 7th inning.
My old roomie Bob Friend had 183 in the championship year of 1960.
And hit to the shortstop. Had him played perfectly. 6-3.
Kind of take that little side saddle, measuring it.
Barmes on to Morneau. 1 down. Ryan Morris, and boy, it's good to see Justin Wilson loosening in the bullpen. That's a big arm that the Pirates need. He has been out for a week. Clint Hurdle wanted to make sure that Wilson was healthy, gave him a week off. And as Steve mentioned earlier, Jason Grilli will close tonight's game if necessary. 0-1 the count on Ryan Hannigan. When Hurdle spoke with Grilli in his office earlier this afternoon, he spoke with Melanson. In fact, he and Ray Searage gathered with Melanson. Melanson's fine with this whole thing. And this was really the game plan when Grilli came back. Just a matter of when. 0-2 the count. The Pirates feel like they're a better club with Grilli in that closer's role. Both all-stars, the setup man and then closer when Grilli went down, Mark Melanson. Another strikeout. That's 11 to match his Pirate high in any game.
Now what you got here is a veteran who has been up and down the street and through these kind of situations, stepping out there and coming up big. A.J. Burnett. Big performance tonight.
2 outs in the 7th inning. That pitch count you saw at 100. He's due up second in the bottom of the 7th inning. And if we know Clint Hurdle at all, we assume that this will be his last inning and could be his last batter. Though that could change.
But could we also assume then, going a step further, that it would not be Melanson in the 8th inning tonight?
No, it could be. He's available. Yeah,
okay.
Melanson's available.
Go back to that sequence. Meanwhile,
Henry Rodriguez pinch hitting.
And the man of the hour on the mound.
Interestingly enough, 2 months to the day was Jason Grilli's last save. Just happened to be in Cincinnati. 2-2 the count on the pinch hitter.
Well, again, if you could write scripts and you can't always do it, you would love to see a strikeout here, and you will hear some noise in this ballpark for number 34 walking off the mound. I'm not wanting to get ahead of myself, but I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. And he's right on the doorstep.
What a performance tonight. He has come up big. Francisco Liriano came up big last night. They're 2 veterans.
And this would be the 7th inning stretch times 10 if that happens.
Looking for a dozen punch-outs. Did it. 7 strong for Batman. In a ball game.
He was absolutely superb. Well, this is a veteran coming up big after a emotionally wrenching night, and just being exactly what the Pirates needed. Minimum of offense, but he has controlled the Reds. They got single runs in the first 2 innings and nothing after that. Superb, A.J. Burnett.
Burnett has had some big games in his now 2-year Pirates career, but I think this has got to top them all when they needed him most.
Yep. Well, that's, everybody can deliver, but that's what you hope for from your veterans. You plant their feet on the ground and hold the fort.
Yep. Fredo Simon takes over. Travis Snyder on deck to bat for Burnett. Barmes has flied to right and bounced to short.
We're working against the 4th Cincinnati pitcher of the evening. It's Bailey, Duke, Hoover, and now Simon.
Inning in Milwaukee, and the Cardinals, top of the 8th inning. Cardinals are leading 2-1 over the Brewers. Still a delay in Washington, D.C., the Nationals and the Marlins. How about, Steve, the Pirates hold on tonight. They end up playing in D.C. Marlins win that one. Magic number to 2. And tomorrow, Jeff Locke comes up big. He's pitched well against the Reds. And the Fish take a second straight against the Nats. And the Pirates, they clinch a playoff berth here.
What's the North Shore going to be like? You got a football game starting later on. It's going to be insane out here. Wonderfully insane. Oh, I love the picture that you're painting.
Well, these matchups are so important because if they do wind up tied their record, the Reds and the Pirates, the head-to-head matchup will determine who hosts that one wild card game.
Up for grabs.
Hanahan, flawless over there tonight. The video game that puts you in the owner's suite is now available free on iPhone and iPad. Build your stadium and make the decisions to guide your team to the World Series. Download MLB Ballpark Empire free today. Data and usage rates may apply. Starling Marte is getting ready to pinch run should Travis Snyder reach as he bats for A.J. Burnett. Strike. Top of the order due up for these Cincinnati Reds. Snyder pinch hit last night. Bounces this ball toward Phillips and just does get Snyder. So in the 8th inning, though Melanson is available, it is Brian Morris. A.J. Burnett, 7 solid innings. Talking with tomorrow's starter Jeff Locke. Tabata 1 for 3. Off the glove. Hanahan, had he recovered that time off the bounce, he might have had a shot. Goes as a base hit for Tabata, his second infield single, and he is 2 for 4. And now we might see Marte.
And that would have been interesting if he comes down with the ball, because it took a while to get to him. He had to go up in the air. Tabata's not a burner. High chop. Never did get the handle. We'll never know.
Well, Marte has been out there very aggressively when pinch running doesn't take him long. Last night pinch ran in the 7th inning and he was picked off by the lefty Manny Parra. He's not quite Billy Hamilton, but he's a good base stealer. One of the top stolen base men in the league. Marte.
Be hard to believe that he wouldn't go.
Yeah. Marte with 36 steals on the year. It's tied for 4th most in the National League. Simon made it pretty close.
Even if you're not quick, pickoff move, if it's properly thrown in terms of the direction, just off the dirt on the fair side of first base, it's usually going to be pretty close. If it's high like that, not much reaction.
Marte pinch running for Tabata, and he'll stay in the game to play left. Neil Walker, meanwhile, 0 for 3 tonight. Marte does need to get into scoring position with 2 outs. See if the Pirates can't pick up another run.
Yeah, we're not quite sure how many it's going to take these days.
Get as many as you possibly can. Looks like Marte has just extended his lead a tad. Still got back rather easily. Although Simon has been accurate to Votto. Hannigan has been very good throwing out runners this year. Runner goes, it's bounced foul.
We'll start the dance again.
He's thrown out 42% of the runners trying to steal.
Outstanding numbers. He's done a good job. Obviously, the Cincinnati pitchers have given him a chance to do a real good job.
Not going this time. 2-1, but you can bet he'll be going now. It is 2-1 on Walker. Marte pinch running at first. 5 hits for the Bucks, 4 hits for Cincinnati.
Why not go? And Simon's not a big time swing and a miss pitcher in terms of strikeouts he has racked up.
Throwing over a bunch of times to try and keep Starling Marte close. The new father, Starling Marte. There he goes, way outside, and no chance for Hannigan.
We've got a catcher having to reach with his glove hand way out to his left and transfer it back to a throwing position. It's just too much time. There's the break. Watch Hannigan. He's got to reach way out. That's too tough. You almost wind up throwing with just your arm and not really having time to let your body help you out.
Well, that's an interesting one. Marte and Melanson. I think Jeff Locke will have something to say about that. And A.J. Burnett, the dynamic duo. And there is ball 4. And Simon will face Andrew McCutchen. With 2 outs. Here's one. The Reds are afraid of the league's MVP. Pretty cool painting there. The bat signal off over by the point, looks like.
Cape working.
Yeah. Here come the chance again. Ball 1.
You think that young man has not captured this town?
He's 2 for 7 in his career against Simon. Got him to pop up. Simon is going to back away from The third baseman Hanahan, and Hanahan makes the catch. The Pirates strand a couple on to the 8th. 4-2. Hopefully the rubber match of the series, Bronson Arroyo against Jeff Locke. Locke 2-0 in the ERA of 1 in 3 starts against the Reds this season. And the veteran Bronson Arroyo allowed just 1 run, 7 innings against the Buccos on June the 19th. Should be a good one to conclude the regular season at home.
And speaking of that, Greg, I've got to take a minute, and I'm going to take a minute. I insist upon it because this is my last TV game of the year.
And my last home game.
Well, this is my last one forever this year. And
important to, again, emphasize this year, because the last time you did this, everybody says, where's Steve going?
No, I'm not going anywhere. But to Adam and Pete and Jason, everybody in the truck, the camera guys, the whole crew, Bill and Dash up here, thank you. You have much patience with me. I appreciate working with all you guys. It's fun. It's really been fun this year. Thanks for the ride.
They do a great job. We say it every year that we have the best cameramen, technicians in the country. And they go out all over the country and do all kinds of sporting events.
Thanks for the help.
Yep. Starling Marte stays in the game to play left. Wish we could name them all. And all the folks that help us here on Root Sports as Derek Robinson steps in against Brian Morris. And this is the biggest stage ever for Brian Morris. How will he react? He is setting up, we assume, Jason Grilli in the 8th inning.
And what you want is strikes. Strike one. First step, good step.
Ball and 1 strike.
Brian Morris telling us on the caravan he wanted really to be part of this, and now he is knee deep at this point in the season. He's very much a part of this.
Cannot emphasize enough about what this inning means to the Pirates and to Brian Morris. This is gigantic. If he can get the outs here, it'll go a long way in his immediate and long-term future. Justin Wilson actually might be getting ready for Votto. Clint Hurdle has not done matchups all that often this year. Rolled to third, a big first out perhaps. Yes, got the speedy Robinson.
Boy, and Pedro had to turn it loose, and he can. He's got that cannon for an arm. And good reach by Morneau over at first base. That ball had a little rise to it.
Getting the cannon ready here. Zipping it across.
And I'm kind of glad that Morneau is as tall as he is.
Yep. Needed just about every inch that frame. And now Brandon Phillips, 1 for 3 tonight. Oh, 2-0 now on Brandon Phillips. Fastball 95 miles per hour.
And I think when you look at Brian Morris, the only issue you have is consistent control. His stuff is plenty good enough. Works downstairs a lot, gets ground balls. He's, kind of established a little resume of getting ground ball double plays, but consistent strikes. Big item for anybody, including Brian.
Ball 3. The manager paces. 5 more outs to get.
We're all pacing emotionally.
Yep. With the memory of last night fresh in everyone's mind. Backing away completely. 3-1. Jared Hughes, Mark Melanson, Jason Grilli. 3-1. Walked him with 1 out. And here comes Joey Votto. Does Hurdle want Wilson to face Votto? Wilson, who hasn't worked in a week, is going to be summoned. At first base with 1 out, Brian Morris got Robinson, but he walks Phillips. And now it's up to Justin Wilson, who last worked a week ago yesterday. His velocity was down a bit. So, in fact, quite a bit. So he works here against Votto. Votto hitting .259 against left-handed pitching. .332 against righties. Wilson has limited left-handed hitters to a .203 average. 16 hits and 79 at bats, but he has walked 7, and he's facing the National League's walks leader.
But this is the matchup that you have to create. I mean, this is the one you do.
39,425 on hand.
And this is the night. Had the weather been good, we'd have cracked 40,000.
Still a sellout. 22nd of the year. 1-0 on Votto.
Has hit into 13 double plays.
Good to see that velocity at 95. It's more like it from Wilson, and a big, big strike. 1-1. Part of the crowd of 39,425. 1 ball, 1 strike on Votto. And now it's 1-2 as Wilson came back with a breaking ball.
Nice separation of speed, 95 down to 80.
Mark Melanson is loosening in the Pirates bullpen. So again, this is very, very rare. We might see a matchup after this if Wilson can get Votto. One step at a time. I stand corrected. I was told it was Melanson. It's Vin Mazzaro. So he's probably, you would think, Steve, getting ready for Ludwig.
Well, if you continue the righties on righties, lefties against lefties sequence, looks that way. It points in that direction.
Brandon Phillips stole a base in the first inning last night off lefty Francisco Liriano. One and 2 on Votto. .98 went inside, but again, very encouraging to see Wilson's velocity back. Now it is 3-2 on Votto. We mentioned 126 walks to lead the league.
And you wonder if missing that badly with the breaking ball just urges you just to go back to the fastball. You wonder if Votto is thinking along those lines. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. And I would be surprised if we didn't see a fastball. But that being said, his fastball is plenty good.
Towards short. There's one. There's two. Mr. Wilson. A gigantic double play off the bat of Joey Votto. The lead is still 4-2. into an inning-ending double play. What a job by Justin Wilson. Steve, break down this at-bat pitch by pitch for us.
This is the at-bat of the game. Wilson missing fastball. Missing fastball. And the curve fouled off. Missing again. That's what took it to a full count. And then the fastball, again, you can be looking for it. If it's a good enough fastball, you can get this kind of result. Justin Wilson standing strong. That was the at-bat of the game.
That's a big weapon the Pirates haven't had for a week. That's really big. I mean, you can't emphasize enough how important that arm is. That 97 up and in on Votto. And that 3-2 pitch.
And that's different than a 90-mile-an-hour fastball to Joey Votto. I don't care which arm you throw it in with.
The lefty Sean Marshall. A dozen games. Loving Clint Hurdle.
Pushing the right button there for sure. The matchup worked out very well for the Pirates. Lefty on lefty. Lefty. Justin Wilson.
Breaking ball driven deep to right center field, but not enough. It's going to die off the wall. Justin Morneau was looking for his first Pirate home run. One away.
And we have seen nights where that ball is 4 rows deep in that direction. It's not flying tonight. Oh, is that center cut for a hitter in the power zone?
Big drive off the lefty, Marshall. Marshall much of this season on the disabled list. Ball, 1 strike. And
he's
there
back.
He is. How about that? Jason Grilli getting ready for a save situation. Now, ideally, the Pirates would add on here in the 8th.
And I want to hear this crowd when he comes out of that gate. There's a good chance you're going to get some goosebumps.
It'll be a big-time test for Grilli and the Pirates. Meanwhile, Bird 1 for 2 and a big sacrifice fly in the 6th. Lays off 3-2. Bird with his 84th RBI of the year, his 13th with the Pirates. That sac fly in the 6th brought home Andrew McCutchen, the go-ahead run. Pirates added another with an Alvarez base hit. And there is the third baseman Hanahan again. Let's go to the studio for a game break with Rob King. Well, the Cardinals have won 10 of their last 14 and looking as though they're not going to be slowed down, certainly by the Brewers. They beat Milwaukee last night in extras. The Cardinals will take on the Washington Nationals next, starting on Monday in St. Louis, while these Reds will host the Mets before entertaining the Pirates. And stabbed by Marshall. Well, we'll keep it right here. Steve wanted to know what the reaction would be, and the all-star closer, Jason Grilli, what must be going through his mind right now as he heads to the mound. First save opportunity since July. Here he comes.
Strikes out the side. He struck him out.
Praise the Jolly Roger and give Grilly the save. Got him. Struck him out. Praise the Jolly Roger.
Gutsy call. W for the Bucks.
Grilly is going to try and bring him the cheese now. He is back. The 36-year-old closer, Jason Grilly. What a moment. His first save opportunity since July 21st. Was leading the National League in saves when he hurt his forearm the next night in Washington, D.C. Inside, ball one on Ryan Ludwig. Pitch there on Ludwig in a hurry. This is actually Grilly's first save opportunity since he hurt his arm against the Nats, July 22nd.
Good location. It was 92 miles an hour, but when you place it in good spots, that's plenty of speed.
Back for the breaking ball, 1-2.
And if you remember when he was piling up the saves, that slider, that breaking ball down and away, a lot of success with that. A lot of success. And you'll get more when you're out in front in the count. And that's where he is right now. Will he go back to the slider? I'm guessing yes. It's a guess. Looks pretty good now. No. Must have been the second sign.
Shook off the slider. He wanted the fastball after Martin put down the slider. Really wanted the fastball. 2-2. Now does he go to the slider?
You see that switch? Yeah, I didn't see it, but anyway, it's set up the slider perfectly now. If that was the plan, to go up and in with a fastball.
Back to the slider now. And lined into left field, a base hit for Ryan Ludwig. He just reached out and singles to left field. Ryan Ludwig here in the 9th. Remember last night, Ludwig singled to right with 1 out against Melanson.
And that's a good-looking pitch. I mean, that's a pitcher's pitch. And that's what he did, just go out there and just turn it back around. Nothing wrong with that delivery by Jason Grilly.
Here is Jay Bruce, who is 0 for 3, has 30 homers and 103 RBIs. This is popped up towards shallow left near the line. It'll drop foul. Bounced to the seats. Parrott takes a bow.
Yep. He was willing that ball to go into foul territory. He's got those kind of powers.
One on Bruce. One ball, one strike. Bruce tonight 0 for 3 against A.J. Burnett. Hit into a double play in the first, lined out to third baseman Pedro Alvarez in the third inning and struck out in the sixth. Reaches out, bounces this one towards second. There's one, and there's two! Wow, big ones there.
Talk about double plays in the 8th and 9th inning. Nothing better.
Well, about 24 hours ago, they were on their feet in the 9th inning. They're doing it again.
What I want to see, and I haven't seen it in a long time, is Jason Grilli beat Russell Martin's chest protector hard.
Ball one.
Boy, how do you like this extra run right now? Not that it doesn't look like you need it, but there's nobody on base, but it's nice to have it in your back pocket.
Ground ball to short. Barmes to first. Raise the Jolly Roger. Jason Grilli. First save since July 21st. That is more like it.
Yes. Break that scar tissue. Spit out that bad taste you have still until that last out from last night. Last night's gone. It's Saturday night in Pittsburgh. The Bucks have a win.
So they move a game up on the Reds. Likely to be 2 back of the Cardinals. Setting the stage for more drama tomorrow. The rubber match of the series as Jason Grilli returns. A.J. Burnett earns his 9th win. Justin Wilson came back. Gigantic victory for this Pirates ball club.
Running 39,000 people who got what they wanted tonight. Pirates put a lid on it. Double play in the 8th, double play in the 9th. Huge.
So the magic number to clinch a playoff berth is down to 3. Any combination of Pirate wins and Nationals losses totaling 3, and the Bucks are in. The Cardinals are winning big in Milwaukee. A look at the standings at the moment, pending the outcome of that Cardinal game, but the Pirates know that tomorrow they will be a game up on the Reds, and now they've taken 8 of the first 15 games of the season series. A lot more to talk about. Let's go to the studio. Robin T.